closer look at the economic angle of what President Macron said today. And we're joined by Catherine Bennett from the business desk. Now, Catherine, President Macron spoke about the rising rate of unemployment here in France. There could be as many as 1 million job seekers by the spring of next year. What's the government planning to do to tackle that crisis?
Well, as you say, there is rising unemployment that's due to the crisis. However, there is the end of lockdown, but things are still not quite getting back to normal. And so Macron announced today a measure to protect workers from being fired. So the idea is that businesses are encouraged to reduce their salaries rather than actually cutting jobs. He's also asked companies to be quite moderate, that was his word, when it comes to paying shareholders. So he's saying if they're asking employees to take lower salaries, then he says that shareholders also have to pull their weight too and take smaller dividends. Now, the government is also creating a 30 billion euros pot of money, and that's going to go entirely towards the labour sector. So that's going to be used for compensating those lost salaries, for financing training for young job seekers, and helping workers switch to different sectors where there could be more job opportunities. Now, the government has said before that young people are its priority, and this, of course, is a big problem in France. Like in many countries, this September we'll see thousands of graduates graduating into a world where there just aren't that many job opportunities or work. And so the French government is investing in that. They're investing in apprenticeship contracts. They'll be paying for thousands of young people to carry out the first year of an apprenticeship. They're also going to be cutting taxes and charges for companies that do hire young people, and similarly cutting those social charges for young people who are just in their first jobs. And so that's a measure that will last for 2 years, and that's predominantly aimed at young people who aren't particularly well qualified and for minimum wage jobs.
OK, and the French government promising more money to help restart the economy. Just tell us a bit more about what's in this recovery plan then.
Well, the government has said that it will inject an additional 100 billion euros into this recovery plan. And that's on top of the 460 billion euros that the government has already spent on propping up the economy during the coronavirus pandemic. Now, the question is, where is that money going to come from? At the beginning of Macron's mandate, he promised to abolish council or residency tax. And in the meantime, it's gradually been phased out for certain households. Now, one quick fix would be to go back on this plan and to get at least the wealthier households in France to start paying their council tax again. One thing Macron has said is that he's completely ruled out raising taxes. He reiterated the importance of investing money to help kickstart the economy, money that he says will be paid back over the long term. We can listen to what he said about that now.
Je pense qu'on ne résout pas une crise comme celle-ci en augmentant les impôts. Pourquoi? D'abord parce qu'on l'a fait à chaque fois. Si on dit on va augmenter les impôts, les gens ne consomment pas, le doute s'installe et le pays ne repart pas.
And there was one last thing to do with the economy that he mentioned during the interview earlier. He said that he talked about his retirement reform, of course, this reform that has been incredibly controversial in the country, this albatross around his neck, and he is still not backing down on that. He said it was fair. He insisted that he will continue with the pension reform, but he agreed as well that job creation is going to be the priority for the second half of his 5-year mandate. And he admitted as well that it's going to be harder to find the money to actually push through that retirement reform. So for the moment, that will be taking a backseat, which is good news for the people who were staunchly against that reform.
OK, well, thank you very much indeed for that. Catherine Bennett from our business news desk, thank you. Well, in the context of